Hey there guys, it's Joey. So for those of you not on my Facebook, I decided to treat myself the other day to the Oracle of the Shapeshifters. The book is written by Lucy Cavendish and the artwork by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. I decided to treat myself the other day because I'm having a monster period, sorry guys, but you know, and it was something I'd been looking at for a while. I'm not a huge collector of either tarot or oracle cards. I now have 3 of each, and given the Celtic importance of the number 3, I think that's it for the time being. I decided to purchase these not just on a whim. I mean, I went ahead with the purchase to make myself feel better because of the horribleness of Lady Month. And but I had been looking at it for a longer period of time. One, I do really enjoy the artwork of Jasmine Beckett Griffith, and I actually have some on my Facebook, like attributed to her and everything. Obviously, I've been told on an odd occasion that I look like 1 or 2 of them, so I think one of them is actually in this deck, which is the Snow White one. I've been told I look a bit like narcissism. Woo! Not really. So I decided for the Oracle of the Shapeshifters because I enjoy the notion of the shapeshifter, because Morrigan is a shapeshifter, because there's a lot of sort of shamanism and shamanistic ritual, or druidic ritual even, involved with animal connection and even shapeshifting into animals. But the bond between animals, animal energy and animal and spirit realm is something I very much feel connected to. So I decided to go ahead and get this oracle deck. This is the box it comes in, and then the cards are just like loose in the bottom with a strap across, and then you get your booklet. So I'm going to move that off, and the booklet seems to have quite a lot of information per card, which is nice. So this one will be the Golden Phoenix, and you have about the card, the Golden Phoenix speaks, divination, and that's it. So, but that's a nice little bit of starter information to read through when you're getting to know each card. And we're going to go through them. So there we go. There. Whee! The first thing that I noticed is the size. They're quite a good size. I don't think either of my other cards are quite so big, because the Celtic Tree Oracle and the Witchlings are a bit bigger. But these are the biggest ones that I own. The Celtic Tree are probably sort of average playing card size, and the Witchlings are a little bit bigger, but these are much bigger, like size of my hand bigger, which is nice. I think that will make for a unique experience for me. They are quite flimsy in feel. I don't know, I don't really want to bend them too much, but they do feel a little bit more delicate, so that is something worth bearing in mind if if you're likely to bend them, or if you really don't want, if you have kids and you don't want them to get bent and things, that you might want to keep them private. They might not be excuse me, hay fever is terrible. They may not be for an ideal thing for really young people if you are introducing them to oracle decks or whatever. I don't have that, so this is the back of the cards. So I quite like the back of the cards. What I really like about it is the sort of the dark forest and the contrast with the bright frogs with wings. So right from the onset, this image at the back sort of sets out the tone of the deck, which is the strange and the unusual, which kind of sums up Beckett Griffith's work quite regularly. She likes to delve into the strange and the unusual. And the sort of vibrancy of these strange creatures. I don't mind frogs, I'm not, you know, a huge frog person or anything, but I quite enjoy the imagery on the back. I really like this one. I've got a feeling all three of these might represent poisonous frogs, so that's something worth bearing in mind. The sort of duality of something that looks incredibly beautiful but can be dangerous at the same time, not to be toyed with, not to be messed with. The other thing I wasn't overjoyed with is these were quite sticky when I first took them apart. You have to be really, really careful. It's a good job I was careful anyway, just in case, because if you didn't know and just pulled the first one off, you could theoretically rip the second one. I don't know if it's because of the laminating process or what, but mine are fine because I was careful. So this is beautiful. Let's zoom in. Out. Ditch. There, that'll do. Okay, so this is the first card, which is the Wolf Moon. It's beautiful. I think we'll go through imagery for a couple and then I'll just show you the rest, because otherwise this video is going to be a long video. And the writing on the card is very basic, it's one line. And the imagery is really gorgeous when you actually look at it. There's very little border, the here and here, very thin border, and the rest of it is image. And on first inspection it looks relatively simple, but then you can start picking out things from what you're looking at and making associations by yourself. Wolf Moon is actually connected to the actual Wolf Moon. So you have your wolf, the wolf girl with her tattoo on the arm, the full moon. There tends to see some like little magic coming off here that weaves into the thread of her hair, so the hair is connected. She's sat cross-legged in a sort of meditative pose. It's beautiful. And there is like the outline of a dark forest here in shadow. So that's beautiful. Let's actually read from the book. A beautiful girl is seated beneath a perfect full moon, unable to sleep. She wraps her arms around the wolf, her companion. If you look closely, she has the tattoo of the wolf's footprint. She is one of the clan. She is different in form, though she is one of their own. The wolf has been held by the small girl. They are not the same, but they are kin, and one is changing, which requires courage and commitment, and flourishes best when protected. The girl may be about to change form, or she may be holding one who is about to change. You are always in this process of transformation, and when you have a guardian, you will be supported through your shifts through many selves. The lunar aspect of this card is protective. The moon's fullness suggests a high tide of power, and this is traditionally the time of great change and metamorphosis. This is a time when the tender can cradle the fierce, and in which your true wild self and instinctual knowledge can be heard and acted upon. The energy of this card will also help you feel safe and strong when you sleep. Call on this being before sleeping or travelling, or when you are in hostile or uncertain territory. And then it has divinational meanings as well. So it's really nice that you can actually work with these cards for their energies first and foremost, and you can use them for divinational purposes, giving them a duality, which is really nice. I love the writing in the book, that it's beautiful. So the second one is one of my favourites, obviously. Kitsune. Obviously my totem is fox. I don't think the fox imagery is as strong as the wolf imagery. I think the wolf is a much more beautiful image on the face. But I'm an arse about foxes, so that might just be me. But I love the woman, the kitsune woman. She looks an awful lot like an energy I've seen around in my experience. How long is the writing? Okay, kitsune is the Japanese word for fairy-like fox or spirit being that changes itself into the form of the fox. Kitsune are, without exception, very intelligent and can bestow great gifts and blessing upon those whom with they travel, you for example. Kitsune will also help you outwit those who would steal what is rightfully yours, falsely sell something of no worth, or try to steal aspects of your own energy, personality and destiny. The older your kitsune the older your kitsune familiar is, the wiser she will be. The more you can heed her knowledge and the more you can safely surrender to her leadership for a time. Close your eyes for a moment and see her. How many tails does she possess? The number of tails indicates how many levels of experience she has. It's lovely. It's a little bit of cultural reference and history and lore, if you like, which if you so then desired you could go and investigate. The imagery is very beautiful. I mean, this is a typical Japanese lantern. She has 3 sort of different colours of a kimono on, with the border being the 4th. So you could even suggest this might be for the 4 elements for the balance. Autumn in the background, which is my favourite time of year. This card is basically me in a card. I love it. We're not going to read through any more meanings though, because it will take forever. So the next one is Little Red Riding Hood. I am not a victim. It's fantastic. Another wolf card. The barrenness of the forest in the background, suggesting the bleakest parts are behind, and the full force of the Little Red Riding Hood is face on, facing down, not afraid. The wolf is behind her as well. So you can see that as the wolf being a protective, right behind her, reinforcing her power. So that's lovely. Brother Raccoon, a safe place for you to go. I love the angelic wings are mirrored in the feather charm in her hair. That's beautiful. Obviously a Native American feel to the card, and I believe Brother Raccoon is a Native American reference as well. The butterfly ferrets. So this one's a little bit more unusual. Obviously the ferrets are a little bit more whimsy in this. Fairy bee. Very close up in this one. Very much about the expression, I think. Well, I'm not going to go into too much. Bats in the belfry. Bats in the belfry. Beauty and the Beast. It's an unusual choice of beast for Beauty and the Beast. Abel. Obviously it's some play on myths, legends and stories in this. Snow White, the one I've been told I look a bit like. Surrounded by animals. I love the tights as well. I like this next one too. Hedgehog Love. Hedgehog! Isn't that lovely? I love the artwork by her. I really do. Okay, Alice in a Sea of Tears. That's a potent image. Storm at sea. Crab and a water rat, I guess, or at least it's a rat in water. The Golden Phoenix, that's beautiful. A Time to Say Goodbye. Miss Spiderweb. Your Imaginary Friend. Deep Dark Sea Mermaid. I know there are some ladies that will love that. Scariest thing ever. A beautiful little worm. Little wolf girl. Is that one of the first ones which is actually metamorphosizing rather than having the animals in shot? I think it might be. Yeah. So for that card it's actually between transition, which is nice. It's a little bit different. I mean, you can argue the mermaids are as well a bit, but with they're a mythical creature up unto themselves, as perhaps the wolf girl is bordering on werewolf. But it's, although Kitsune kind of was like this as well, but I do enjoy the transitional energies of some of the cards. They're lovely. They actually feel much more emotion like that rather than a snapshot. Dragonfly Mermaid. I love this next one. Elizabeth and the Lion. So Elizabeth I. I think a lot of English people will probably love that. I could be wrong. I do. I like my history. Frog Princess. This is one of the more famous ones from the deck, Butterflies in Gloom. I think possibly because it sort of typifies a more gothic feel that a lot of the artwork by Jasmine, Beckett, Griffith actually approaches and is famous for. This one's incredible. I hadn't actually seen this one until I opened the deck. I think that's really unusual, and even in terms of her art style is a little bit more unusual and therefore really stands out. There's something incredibly hypnotic about it. I may have to start reading more into the Aztec stuff because it just, even from just a history point of view, it's really interesting. And I love some of the artwork. Delicate Fairy and Her Ferrets. Mermaid and the Turtle. Poe's Brave Flight. Wow, that has World War connections. It's very different. So there's obviously some history involved in these cards as well. Two Kittens. Strange Companions in Stranger Places. Fiona and the Unicorn. Next one's probably my favourite one in the whole deck. The Black Cat. So this or the Kitsune are my favourite. This is Halloweeny and has ravens. So either or, I love both of those two cards. Once Upon a Midnight Dreary, Edgar Allan Poe, which is nice, more ravens. Artemis of the Forest. The light is lovely in that one. A Loyal Guardian. A Twist in the Tail. That's a very different card, and rightly so, being a twist in the tail. Albino, obviously, and it's lovely right there to sort of change things up. You are unlike anyone else. The unending sadness of looking back. The Fairy Ring. Sacred Beetle Armour. Little Owlin. This one reminds me of Nadia. Little Brother, Little Sister. Mermaid in a Koi Pond. Snake Princess, Orca Magic, the Mermaid of Immersion, and Dragonfly Garden. So there are 45 Oracle cards in total. So I have yet to work with these, obviously I haven't lined them up. Let's actually do it this way. I haven't purified them yet, I haven't consecrated them yet. I will get them a cloth of their own. I haven't done any of that yet. They've literally just arrived half an hour ago, and I really wanted to share them because I'm so super excited to see them. And my first impressions are I'm very impressed. I was a little bit worried about the stickiness and them being reasonably thin, but I mean I'm going to be careful with them, so that's not a problem for me. But overall, I'm really very impressed. I think the book has a lovely description of each, which is going to be helpful for anybody connecting to them. I mean, not everybody needs a good book to back things up, especially if you've been doing this a while. But Oracle cards are a little bit different to, say, tarot, where you're used to the standardized meanings, because Oracle are a little bit freer in what they use. So whilst you can very much so connect to each card as you're going through and doing your own imagery, it's sometimes nice to see what the book says as well, in case you miss something, and then you start to actually really think about that thing you missed and why you missed it when reading the book, which is great. So the book is wonderful. These are also really great cards for working with their energies in terms of spell work, by the sounds of it, or just working through one card for a week or one card for a day for their energies. So that sounds really fantastic. So that was the Oracle of the Shapeshifters. Many blessings.